Yo, walking out. Walking out of an uncomfortable situation, of an extremely uncomfortable emotional situation. That is something that I have done many times in my life. I've walked out. And I'm not talking about walking out of an unsafe situation, because walking out of an unsafe situation makes sense. Walking out of an unsafe situation is something one should do to protect oneself. I'm talking about situations where the discomfort arises from the feelings we have within us, the feelings that are self-centered feelings, feelings of shame, of humiliation, of anger, of exposure, something like that. Something that doesn't necessarily pose a risk to us in the outside world, only on the inside. Those situations that I have found myself in with people who I care about, with romantic partners or with groups of friends, when those feelings arose in me in the past, the way I could deal with them, the way I have dealt with them in some ways, was to walk out. Or sometimes, in extreme situations, when I was a little younger, to run out, to literally run at a sprint away from the situation, usually when I was outside. But I would run top speed, trying to outrun those feelings, those people, that situation, because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't deal with the feelings I was feeling. They were too much. I needed to act out. I needed to be physical instantaneously, but also with a dash of drama, to disappear. If I could have just evaporated magically, I would have done it. But of course, I couldn't. Still can't. So I bolted as fast as I could, and it was pretty fast. It was pretty fast. And by the end of my run, I was exhausted, and I felt better because I was exhausted, because I had endorphins, because I was no longer thinking about those feelings I just had. I was thinking about recovering. I was thinking about my body tingling with massive amounts of exercise. And then, of course, I would recover pretty quickly and realize what I had just done. I had just literally run off from a group of people or a person in my life. And now I had to walk all the way back to them, sometimes quite a distance, with my head hung low, and explain what had happened. I crossed a line in those situations. I crossed a line that usually I could not go back over. It was a permanent change in the relationship or relationships that continued on through my life for many, many years, really right up through adulthood. I would leave places. The running stopped, and it would be more walking. I would walk out of a room, restaurant, a situation, a house, whatever it was. I would just get up and leave because I couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle the uncomfortable feelings I was having. It was too much for me. It was overwhelming. And I was not mature enough to understand that sitting with those feelings is a choice that we have. We can exist with those feelings. We can sit with them. We can let them process. We don't have to smile through it. We don't have to do any of that. But we also don't have to create a big drama, get up and leave. I didn't get that then. And when I say then, it's not that long ago. Now I do. Now I understand that being able to sit with, literally sit with, uncomfortable feelings, feelings that we do not like, feelings that we do not want, is incredibly valuable. It's incredibly strong. It's something I want to continue to be able to do, to improve, because I'm going to be honest with you. I still leave. I still walk out during arguments sometimes. Not all the time. I'm better. I'm usually called on it because I don't argue that much in my life right now. Thank goodness. But when I do, I want to have the last word and I want to walk because it's dramatic, because I can escape the situation. But really, truthfully, the stronger thing to do, the more mature thing to do, the more enlightened thing to do is to stay there with those feelings, breathe through them, and understand that they are just feelings, that they are temporary, like everything. They are temporary. They come, they rise, they get extreme, and then they begin to fade. And eventually they disappear. And when they do, we get perspective. And what a glorious thing that is. Perspective on the whole thing. And when you stay there and you stand your ground with those emotions, and you let them go through you, and you accept them for what they are, a part of life, you understand more clearly what it's all about. You get it. And you haven't fucked anything up by being dramatic or immature or crazy. So that's where I'm at right now. Practicing experiencing feelings without taking anything or exploding outward. Just being with them, living with them, accepting them. And yes, loving them. I love you.